also took an awfully long time to load, with it taking, some battles upwards of 5 minutes to get there, especially in the late
production
game.
shit.
And
And
new
a
troops
phony
spawning
effing
in, well,
franchise.
that would bring you down to single
Pedro
digits. So another
Ortega
game that
actually
seems to
puts
scale
him in the
relatively well down
localization
to this
team.
hardware,
I've
but
yet
it
to be
makes
able
sense
to
given that they
understand
like
why
to
they
fold it
wrote
up
to
on
me
the
initially,
Xbox
and then
One.
you write
So
back to them. It's
similar
just a response
ports,
back.
and it
It's
does
like
make you wonder again,
greetings from
what
Sega
are
in
those other four cores on
2024 going
consoles
into
actually
25.
doing?
Which is a
Now this is a weird one, because I have zero experience with Remold on console. I know how to port, but here on PC, the game's Unity origins mean it uses one core. That's all it really uses here. And we saw it last week with the Core 2 Quad, where having multiple cores didn't do anything. So it does make me question, how does this even run on console? Did they actually pull off some multi-threaded magic? In which case, please can we have that on PCs? Because you'll have to let me know down in the comments if the game runs okay. Here, the game really wasn't great. During a mid-game benchmark, we used just anything. It didn't matter what you used. The game would run the same. 1 times speed, 4 times speed. The game just slowed down the frame rate without actually going any faster. So does it run like this on console? Because if so, this is more or less unplayable. I just can't see how they've pulled this off, given that here we are having an abysmal time. Red Dead Redemption 2 was one of the first titles to show a glaring level of optimization over on the console side, as here it took a long time to load. At first I assumed it had crashed, but nope, it was still loading and just taking a very long time to do so. And perhaps it's the use of DirectX 12 and the Vulkan renderer that allow the game to utilize more cores.
I
but given how this is
had an
half
Ottoman
Xbox
box
One
that I didn't
CPU,
have, and I had
we
went to the
saw
Harris
half the
with my
performance
mom.
here. And I can see that with 8
And I
cores,
had the
we
Harris
took
thing off.
30 FPS and
I had the
called it a
white
day with some
phone.
frame
I'm
drops
not probably
included. But here on the
upgraded because people will tell me fucked up shit. I had the warranty extended, meaning guarantee when you buy a phone, you can get upgraded for $12.99 extra. And it isn't their phone plan. You get a SIM card put in here. That's why I don't like any of the stuff online, because people will tell you all sorts of stuff.
The C680 helped smooth out the frame times a little bit.
I had an apartment for 2 years. Besides the fact that we went to buy the apartment area where this phone was bought at, and the receipt I had shown off the receipt prior to all that other stuff.
To run these new titles is to really make them run on all 8 cores. As when you strip it back to just 4 cores here, well,
I ate a Subway sandwich, but it's more better than the shit you buy at the fast food restaurant. You don't know what mood you're gonna be in when you buy something. And I have a middle school diploma and a high school transcript. That's how you get into college. Your high school transcripts off of grant writing and shit for those 3 years of high school. And extended time ago, I actually had a job via the Coppin Foundation, via that purple badge and shit. People will honestly, I don't know how they follow you and believe that all of this bullshit. If you actually have the SSI for diploma and work 3 years as a grant writer, that's what I did. So when people walk past here being crazy and shit about the information, and they can walk past here tell you some fucked up shit, and they know they got the fucking right address, but they're telling you fucked up shit. You have to stand your ground laws, where you have a person, Pedro Ortega, wrote into the Sega console the back then 2001 until probably 2008 when they deliberately changed their hands about the consoles being banned from Microsoft Xbox Division,
with near enough 8 perfect
rebuying the rights to Shenmue.
And once again, it does make you realize the basis for a lot of minimum requirements for these games until very recently was simply make the game run on console with a PC port. And ideally, one that only uses 4 cores, because for the vast majority of what we've seen, that's exactly the way it's gone. Some of you may have noticed that if you have a 6 or 8 core system, Skyrim isn't really touching even the first 4, at least not properly. And I would imagine a lot of that stems from it running at a 30 FPS target on console, so us here seeing the game use 4 cores and run at 30 FPS.
This is from Ortega. But I bought the thing brand new on the device brand new. I had to go forth and relive the nightmare. People tell me some fucked up shit, but when I'm playing Halo on, it's on the actual PC device, which I had the Google profile on, and I had the no ability to log into the Gmail of the 05 one, October 05 Gmail, but I have the ability to get
the processor side performance increase was not at that level
rebranded,
yet. So
Xbrand
I'm
brand.
going to say that's probably the reason why
Their
you won't
Xbox
always see it
division
feel
of
like
Game
it's on
Pass
a
enhances
console.
all their
The
shit. So
game
you can
was
play on the
completely
phone device,
unplayable, even with the
you can
simplest
play on the
tests.
television, you can
If
play
they
on the
wanted to
PC,
port
but
this
it's a
game at
different,
all, you'd be looking at the bare
login
bones
thing that
maps
I don't
running
normally
at 20 to
have the
30
ability to
FPS
log
at
into it as
best.
much. People
And
believe
I don't call
that this wasn't their
anything
device,
resembling
but
the
they
playable
call
experience, at least
you
on
all
a
sorts of
console,
creepy shit.
where you expect at least something smooth. So yeah, the benchmarks are.
If they tell you you have ass cancer, you still
Remember, we
go
are
for the
looking at this
Plobo
in the context
2008.
of
They still
today.
have the shit
Work's
mailed
main
to you. That's how it
competitor is its
goes.
console
When you
counterpart,
get the shit,
and it
Evan
carries
had
a
his shit
price
mailed to
tag
Kathy's
far higher
address
than it has any right to.
from Kansas to
Just like I said,
Missouri,
it would
so
cost
I
you
don't
as much as
understand how
Xbox
come
One. And given that
they're
we are
giving me
seeing
a
worse
big
than a
deal
Vault
about
2
my
quad,
shit when they
maybe
know
even
you had
Core
to
2 Duo
spend
performance for over
like
10
7
times the
years
cost of one of
almost
those, it is
to be
frankly
able to achieve something
ridiculous.
that they could
I think
never
the
get
most
to
interesting
in a short
takeaway from
amount of
this
time.
is that
Of
we can see that
the
console
year that I
optimization,
had went to Tri
well, it
County
only
and
kicked in once developers literally
got
couldn't
one of
use
those
just 4
great things
cores,
to be able to tell
and
you
you
that
can't
Tri
really
County
argue
gave
with
me
that as a result.
my
A
shit
30
within the
FPS
healthcare.
target was all they
When I
needed,
had
and sure, with
when
double the performance on offer over a
paid like
console,
$1,000
it
to go
was
find
rare
a
that they ever seemed to have fully utilized
ability to
that
know and be
outside the
able to
realms
write
of games
you
like Red Dead Redemption 2, which literally
admission to go
won't
whatever
work
the
here
fuck
on the
I
Apple
didn't
with
want
half
to
the
just go
cores.
through something and have my
Definitely an interesting
email
one to think
attachment
about, and in the context of
like
today's
show you that
pricing, it
actually is
is
legitimate.
downright ridiculous. But there will still be some people saying, that's not what these were for. They were for media centers and servers and all the likes. And yes, it still does that. No one is arguing with that point. But when you are spending, on average, at minimum £50 on one of these, just get something cheaper, better, or equally power efficient. People recommended these for gaming back in the day, as you got the same 4 cores that made up the latest consoles. And at their price point at the time, they were sold for under £30
This
brand
is a
new.
stove. This is
But
Ortega.
there
I
are
can
now
show you.
double that for a used one, and this
Crazy
is a
asshole
niche
sticks.
use
He
case.
somehow looks
It's a
like me,
struggle
but
to
isn't
recommend these, as
nothing
there
look
are
like
no
him if
bad
he's more
products,
overweight.
just bad prices. And in this case, trying to justify something that only borders on the world of usability thanks to a decent niche graphics card being added with it.
Even the computer, it says Windows, it says
hardware
Ortega.
cannot
It registered the
perform it,
computer
your
back then, and
hardware is
it was
more
all
efficient.
listed
They are
done by
stuck
my
in a
ass because
pricing limbo.
the people there at the
When I polled the community, now
wireless
10 years on from the launch of these processors, the
you only
response
can
was
log into
astonishing.
it before, and I
30%
only
of
had the
people said it
ability to
was the
log
worst
into it
thing
when
on
I
the
was
market
on
right
it.
now.
And when I'm get off it, I
11% of
log
people
off
thought not,
of the
but the majority
information
of people
that says
didn't even know
Ortega.
these things existed,
So
which is
these
probably a good
assholes
thing
think
given the
they can
pricing.
just
It certainly sparked some
swindles when they
interesting
take something
conversation with
out
some
of his
people
writing.
saying
You
they
write
still
to
enjoyed
somebody
using it as a
directly,
low-power
telling
processor
them
with
they
full
write directly to the
expandability,
person that
and
they
I
write to,
can't
not a
really
million
argue
other
with the
people.
novelty of all that.
I don't have brown hair and I
had
had a mole inside my
but there was
face.
also a side of it that saw these
So
not
my
in their
computer,
introduction,
the
but
two-way
later on into
verification
its
shit
life
via
when
the
things
Face
were
ID
quite
the
different.
face monitor
And
doesn't
that's
work
where they
anymore. The
quickly
Face
became
ID
irrelevant
technology,
and antiquated.
because I
I
had
think
it
everyone agreed it was an odd one
off
because
and
for
on.
some
I would turn
reason
it off and on
it was
because
very
it isn't
decent,
there if you
but
have
the
the receipt,
prices as
proof
high
of the
as they are
purchases
today and better
on a debit
options
card. He
existed
posts
for
all
those
that shit
who
initially
didn't.
on there.
AM1 finds itself in a strange situation, loved by
I
those
can
who
take
had it
him to
brand
Judge
new
Judy
for its
right now.
value, and loathed by anyone who ended up having to use it for just a few years later. The Athlon 5350, revered as the low-cost equivalent to the Xbox One
I have
itself,
teeth, but I
and
just don't
today,
think that it's
even I
funny
have
with
to
people
admit
that
myself that it's just not worth the
Tech
cost.
USA
If you
could say
have one
relax
and
their
it's
age
working
and
for
shit.
you, that's great
And you
stuff.
leave the channel
But
because
unless
you
you're
do, he
getting
could get sued
devices
by
that
the
are very,
person
very
delivering to
cheap,
say all this
there
weird
isn't any
wisecracking
reason to
shit
go out and
in
look for
another
one of
state,
these,
but they don't
unless you want the
experience
novelty of owning
their
one.
own share
The
of
same way that
personal
owning a
problems
Power
with
Mac
people saying
G5
they
and
live
making it into an Xbox
and their
360 dev kit might be
own
unique.
place, and their parents
It's
are like
just
right
not
next
even
to
as
them when
nice
he's
to use
recording
as
those
that.
live
It's got a
studio
novel
audience
purpose
things will
whose
actually
value
ain't
has
his.
long since
He
been
still
lost to
lives with his
time,
parents
and the
too.
power it once had
They
has
probably
long since
they
been lost to
gonna
World Wide
refund
Web
him and
and
they
more
burn down
intensive
his shit. Be
games
able to tell
that were
you
finally
that
forced to start
they
utilizing
work for
literally
anything. He
double the
just sits
power
there
of
and
this dear
gets
processor.
stuff donated to
I
him by
really
people
enjoyed
that
watching
think
this
his
rather
wisecracking jokes are
analytical
funny.
look back at the
And I
Apple
guess you'd be able to fucking
5350.
say this
There
guy in
is still my
Canada
older video on this
is even as so
gaming
psycho to
benchmarks,
be
but this
accept
was more
things from the
aimed at
sky. Didn't
me.
even like each other.
Apple
They're
with it
getting
being the
money
console's
off
processor.
people that
So I
don't
hope
even
you
give a shit
enjoyed
about their
this.
audience.
Thank
They
you very
really
much for
believe this
watching,
shit.
and good night.
I still have 30,000 to my name that I didn't
Right,
spend
I'm now lifting the cooler off the
off
processor.
Meta, but
We are
it's
still
like
running
stocks
without
and
a
bonds.
cooler.
It's like
This is
whatever the fuck they
only neat
forward
thing
you
this can do.
is
We
the
just
amount
lift
that
the
you
cooler
don't
off the
put
top.
into
It's struggling
a
little
bank
bit
or
now.
don't have an
We'll
email
get the cooler
attachment,
back.
or you just get once. off an attachment saying that here you go, and whatever you spend it on,
No problem.
it's beyond whatever the fuck. But I didn't touch it, so I'm just waiting to be able to fucking go forth and go with somebody that actually can help you out, instead of people telling you you're gonna go on fucking this different that about people that you never met in person. Like Joe Biden never met me in person. When they had wrote to me, that blonde girl, that Tiffany Whipham girl, was the one that probably murdered John Paul Garcia. If they're in California at the point in time, where's the California conversation in between one person and another on a phone when it was a PC device? Because this guy raped us initially, the guy with the no names, they were raping people and shit in that middle school. That guy had the rosary on, purposely bird the guy at 4 in the morning because the lyrics are weird. It says, high up and wherever they go, and here come the goons. He just explained this shit to them. They had somebody with the middle school diploma, and they invited him to Hong Kong in 2007 and 8. But I got spooked out by this shit, and that's why I said little Hong Kong on Kansas. I already had a courtroom back in 2016 or whatever, a cave in Kansas, and they didn't intervene or tell me anything else. They had me in a booth, a confessional booth with a guy with the blue tuxedo on, and he was supposedly the guy that got me off on all this because my prints didn't match. The vehicle was somebody else that they fucking had deliberately did that shit because they were going to fucking rape somebody, and they didn't think that shit was funny.
But still, it's time to find out what happened.
I still have my middle school diploma, so what the fuck? I was in the middle school fucking yearbook with the people in it that got victimized by this weird guy that was in the music video with the rosary on. Of the shit. So I explained this shit where the red shirt, I had a red Hooper Thing shirt on, and they told me I'm not a thief. Ado Garcia. It was a California game. That's on them. It's the people, the California authorities, to go forth. I didn't order anybody to go forth and fuck somebody at 4 in the morning and do all that. They wouldn't have even. If I went to California, somebody called me gay wearing a green polo from California back in 2007 on that shit. So if that's the case, then why that was before we had moved to a different place and had relocated in an apartment back in 2 years, and fucking Malcolm started to tell meetings, making up a bunch of stories about how they occurred, and then they made fun of Lil Wayne and said put the Xbox down. You don't see Bill Gates showing the actual footage and actual forensics of Microsoft off,
and it was released as a cut down Celeron.
It was somebody else that went intentionally did that to him because they got raped by the person in a music video that didn't have his GED neither, and his shit at the time. In 2010, they had a rosary on. The Barrio Lopez guy was psycho. And they're creepy. I'm in a yearbook still. These fuckers can't pretend the shit isn't real.
A very cheap launch price.
They really do that to people.
And these flooded the market.
The
only reason they're slightly rare now is because most people have put them in the bin.
This person that I didn't have contact with, they wouldn't namely do that to him because
the only real novelty is the fact that it's odd.
I was in the middle school
with
a yearbook with a diploma
and that
middle
makes
school.
it the cheapest processor on the market today. A title it held in
from
2008,
Cochrane Foundation in 2007 to 8 to 9. I was on MySpace and I had Von Smear on there, and this Von Smear guy was crazy. He would literally make music videos on MySpace with the music tab. And then they would go forth and add this guy on YouTube. I found him on YouTube somehow. And then going forth, they were telling you that they're literally fucking telling you fucked up shit, like commit suicide, gay person, and all sorts of other shit. They go on you go to Cade Medical Center in 2010 when they framed you and put you in a position where you didn't know what they were going to do. Like, I didn't ever say the dude's name. I just said they were no good, trying to make some kind of like record deal off somebody that didn't have a job themselves. If they were fucking saying that I had a job as a grant writer, I went to middle. They gave the wrong information, like they did John Paul Garcia, and deliberately did some shit to him because he's fucking psycho. They have no right telling you fucked up shit about that. Going forth, they had a doomsday squad, and they all got off the people that they got raped at the middle school that I went to.
Interesting.
And Everett Greenlaw got raped by a bunch of people in San Antonio, Texas. He was all disease riddled at ER labs and shit going forth. I didn't know if he said murky waters
It's a 1P process.
and shit about people that went to school with this guy that said all sorts of fucked up shit. And it talked about the coroner with the saying that I felt sorry about that guy. In the yearbook, he just kept doing crazy shit to people too. He just would tell you all sorts of crazy shit about the house being there and some shit off the record label. Didn't want to sign any of them. This guy was disease-riddled himself and ended up dying. It was a drummer who tried to be like an amateur drummer, and I never made fun of him. But I would have to go to the grocery store and hear about how great these people are, and they would deliberately do shit to people, and then they deliberately try to do this shit to me, and they all got.
And it was able to manage some modern web browsing, or at least, get through setting things up on the operating system. It's also worth mentioning that we are running a Matrox C680 graphics card, as it has virtually no driver overheads, meaning everything we're seeing
device
here
is not stolen.
the
If I can tell you, if I'm not going to the family reunion, this guy wants me to be several million people inside one dude's body without any acknowledgement. In 2019, I went and they could have bought the house and moved us far away from the shit, but instead they still have to tell us all sorts of delivery to tell you fucked up shit just on purpose. And the people that don't like you will go to that thing and act like they like you for a moment, and then they'll try to say it's somebody else in the photo or the video or whatever the fuck the droid.
And that's where the waiting began.
I've already explained this shit.
14 minutes to download.
It already says they're tagged on all this shit.
Most of it wasn't the download. Most of it was extracting files. And I kept hoping that
people
maybe
don't like you, but they don't have to kill you and take your shit and pretend you didn't exist and then act like you're Salvador when they had to buy this guy a big ass fucking
to get its way through the latest.
I'm going blind and shit. I'm not gonna open the door to any of them. I already learned my lesson about talking to them and got me door to tell you they want to steal your shit, become you or whatever the fuck by Belva Sun. Doesn't look nothing like me. I have a bold side, but if I log out of this shit, they can't deliberately fucking log into it if it has like a two-way verification off signing in and out of this thing, and they know when you sign in and off.
That's right. Near enough an hour was spent trying to see just what kind of performance we could get in the title that I consider.
I have Twitch on here. I have one Twitch video.
I mean, we've ran it on Cellrons before.
Twitch was supposed to delete everybody's videos.
Now. And all I can say is that after all
Twitch
that
was supposed to
waiting,
delete everybody's
don't for 2 seconds
Twitch was supposed to delete
numbers
everybody's
saying it's
fucking
getting a
videos.
frame per second down the
And
bottom.
then like everybody's like
It ran like a
archived and shit.
slideshow, and I've also edited out the segments of waiting between scenes, as these could take anywhere from 5 through to 15 minutes
I have
to
this
load.
one video
Performance
on
didn't
this
seem
on the
great,
clipboard.
but at least from this we knew that it supported modern applications, meaning maybe there were some things we could do to improve the performance.
Shit is stolen.
And so it began. With little in the
Never
way of
stole it. My
performance being
fingerprint's so
achieved,
bad going
there
up
was
at
one thing
anybody.
we
Shit, I'm
could
not
do.
the type of person that would go up and do some creepy shit to the person. They literally tell you some fuck that. I had therapy sessions at K Medical Center in 2009 and 10 till day in high school and college and that shit. During that point in time, on my father's insurance or whatever, until 26, I still had insurance up until then. I still have insurance today because I'm blind, or I purposely didn't know what the fuck. Deliberately tell you one thing and then they actually don't go and do it because they had said somebody completely different. That was a stagehand 2009 wearing that brown Punisher shirt. They were on like a isolated like a soundboard feed, like what UTech USA has on the shit where it says what it was like that, but they're far away watching like a feed of them telling you that you're a house plant that healed up like nothing happened, like hanging, and something about a house plant, and just, like it wasn't as fucked up as it seemed, but it was more disturbing that I know that they played some creepy shit in a soundboard feed at K Medical Center in 2004 or 2016 or 2004. I went to therapy sessions at K Medical Center because they tell you that you're going to be a game designer, and then they fucking tell you that okay, Royals only play baseball, and Royals isn't designed to be like a technical institute that's saying the creepy shit about people that didn't know what the fuck they were doing. And they were telling you writing an article saying you would be something. But then I still look the same as the article written. That's why they said about this guy had the high school people that had the first and last names brought to you out on a soundboard shit. I ain't associated with none of them. The only thing that I still could have sue the hospital if they try to intervene saying that you're psycho. The employees and shit, when they're the ones playing the soundboard shit. They're the ones playing the soundboard shit. Why the fuck do they know who the fuck I am if I soundboard shit if the first and last names on a yearbook was the person that they're determining that they're ill themselves and they're mentally disabled? Somebody and fuck with them with these people who fucking have you fight with them and shit, and then you heal up like that's what happens. Every time you get to fight with somebody, you go to K Medical Center and they free your ass. This is because they saw people said your side was right because they deliberately started some shit with those people who said, hey, you'll go talk to this guy, and he went and fucking did some creepy shit about us. They'll go fucking say this fat guy was disturbing and was saying you act like this guy, and I was thin when they took a photograph of me and I was taller than the person, but they deliberately have fat people tell me some fucking shit. They're more of a faggot than me if they want gay shit to happen. They're gonna do gay shit to them. If they did gay shit to John Paul Garcia and they ripped his butthole, they bend him over on the car and fucked him in the ass for his body. They were gonna fuck John Paul Garcia in the booty crack. They went and gave his man cherry soda instead of mine. You'll be able to survive my shit. Those fucking can't survive anything. I went to the hospital saying that this guy was nameless and died nameless like Garcia because it's fucking disturbing. They just said it was disturbing shit. It's more this disturbing crap they able to fucking have this guy be able to represent Kansas and Missouri with some creepy rap music videos. All those rappers, they can't actually do any of that gangster shit to people, or they get fucking put in jail like Sean Diddy Combs. And I laugh at Ziggy fucking disgrace saying she's in the murder business. If she was in the murder business, like I said, she would be put in jail like Sean Diddy Combs. Sean Diddy Combs is spinning around like Lil Nas X right now. That's what he fucking gets. And shit, they act all hard and shit. They do creepy shit to people. Well, J-Lo should have got put in jail, delivery on The View or The Real. And she was like, oh, this guy's a serial killer. I've seen him in the parks and Rex walking around with the blue polo, and they turn off the camera. He was probably just going to the porta potty and just shook some shit up about me. And they go forth, but they were the real serial. J-Lo was a serial killer. Right, big booty. Big booty fucking with you, bitch. You're gonna be crazy with people fucking information. They're gonna deliberately fucking doing shit to my ass, and before I could think about it, they went and fucked him in the booty crack. They went and took his man cherry away. They went and took the man cherry away of John Paul Garcia. And it did remind us that I'm a little Barack Hussein Obama. I'm a little same for John Paul Garcia got butt fucked in the booty crack, and I think you get it because the one girl in the middle school went fucked him in the ass of people in California probably. But there was no conversation via telephone. The dumbass guy was being like, I think he did it, but I don't know what day it is. But today is Obama was a new generation, and he said a bunch of crazy shit about people he never met. With 6 gigabytes of DDR3. I'm a crazy N-word to be able to fucking believe the Xbox. He'll put the Xbox down. Believe my black ass to be able to vote for me, but you put down that Xbox, it's up serial killer. All the benchmarks have been shit able to fucking mock me and shit. Fucking creepy. Creepy Obama. Creepy Obama is man titty. Man titty Obama. Man titty Obama. Obama got man titties. Obama man titties. Strange they were. Obama man titties, third eye open. He went to blame me for. I think he just deliberately fucked the guy with the ass in front of the boy with a bunch of gay people and a gay pink limo went and picked up the Garcia. Never seen again. He went and fucked that goddamn guy in the booty crack. He was supposed to be fucked with the booty crack. This would be to get fucked with the booty crack by some gay people. Some gay ass shit for the money, but some trannies that didn't come by that day. That's what's crazy as shit. They done fucked John Paul Garcia in the booty crack. I had to cover my eyes. They'll cover the goddamn scapegoats of the shit be able to fuck a red ass. They fucked John Paul Garcia right in the booty crack. I'm entitled to my own opinion. This shit. Barack almost saying Obama got made fun of Mortal Kombat, Baraka and shit. With the goddamn chopping up John Paul Garcia's body, thinking it's somebody else in the footage and whatever the fucking thing or roll the footage. It should be able to fucking determine somebody with no fingerprint evidence and match this shit. And the phone device wasn't turned on back in 2010. Don't put down the Xbox. May feel Lil Wayne too. Lil Nas X Obama.